Hello crafty friends, Dawn here. Today I'm back with another Halloween card for you. I thought I would make another spooky Halloween background using my Distress Oxide inks and pattern paper this time. I thought I would show you what the card looks like and all the dimension that it has. This card is also a 5x7 because I wanted to add a lot of detail to it, and the A2 size card just didn't do the card justice. I'm using the Whimsy Stamps Witch Whisper die set. I absolutely love this set. It comes with some really great pieces. The little cats are totally awesome. I'm also using the Wavy Nested Frames and the Nevermore Pattern Paper. I'm using this one right here. I only have a few left and I really need to buy more of it. So I just am using what I have. I do end up using some other products as well, but I'll show you them a little later on. So let's get started. The first thing I did was cut a piece of white cardstock to 10x7 and I scored it at 5 inches. And then I cut another piece of white cardstock to 5x7. I take the largest nesting die and center it in the middle of the 5x7 paper. I wanted the wavy nesty dies just so it wasn't a plain circle or an oval, but you could use whatever you have in your stash. I'm sure it would look fine with any type of cutout. Then I place the cutout over the pattern paper to get an idea of what part of the paper I want to show in the opening, and then I just cut the excess off. Now I'm going to ink blend all around the edge of the white paper. I start with my Distress Oxide Hickory Smoke and I just go all around the edges with it. Now I'm really holding down my paper so it doesn't bend or anything like that. I'm also making sure to rub most of the color off of the brush onto the scrap piece of paper because I really don't want to make any harsh dark spots on the edges. I'm going for kind of like a more subtle, spooky background. Once I go around all the edges with the hickory smoke, then I'm going to bring in my black soot and I go all around the edges with it. I could have left it with just the hickory smoke, but I think the black soot just kind of brings it to a whole nother level when you add it. It just makes it more eerie looking in my opinion. Now, I die cut a little circle out as well, and you can use any circle die you have. I'm going to make her a crystal ball so she can hold it in her hand, and I'm going to blend a small amount of yellow onto this. In fact, I'm using such a small amount, I didn't even add any ink to my yellow blending brush. I just used what was on there. Then I add a little bit of gray onto it. In fact, I didn't add any ink to any of the brushes that I'm using. I just used whatever ink was already on my blending brushes. And then I bring in the black soot. As you can see, the black soot makes like a black ring kind of around the little circle, and it looks kind of cool like this. But it will lighten up a bit, so if you want it to stay dark, you kind of need to add enough to make it so that it doesn't fade. I went ahead and die cut the witch and the cats from black cardstock, and now I'm going to die cut them from some white cardstock because I want the white to kind of stick out underneath the black. I didn't separate my dies, which is fine. I don't mind die cutting all the pieces because I will eventually use them. Now I decided that I thought the border looked kind of plain, and so did the black witch. I wanted her to be a little sparkly and also the background. I haven't used my Sheer Shimmer Craft Spray in quite a while, so I thought I would spray both of them with it. You have to shake it really well to mix up the glitter in it, and I start out by spraying a little bit all over both of the items. I spray from about 10 inches away and just let it kind of fall onto the paper. And then something kind of happened and I got kind of carried away with it. I ended up saturating the witch and then I used my heat tool to dry her and the background so I didn't have to wait for it to dry. Sorry about my camera. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. It really was kind of like zooming in and out here. Now that it's dry, you can see that she has a lot of shimmer to her, and it actually looks really nice in person. I adhere the black witch on top of the white witch, and I off-center it so you can see the white showing from behind the black witch, which kind of gives it like a shadow kind of look. I put foam tape on the back of the white frame, and then I adhere it to the pattern paper. Then I adhere the entire card front to the 5x7 card base. I decided I wanted to add some black trees onto the card, so I'm using the Tree Assortment die set. Now that I already glued everything down, is it me? Am I the only one that decides to add or change things after I've already glued them down? Well, I was determined to get these trees on the card, and I cut two of the small trees and two of the larger ones. I put the two large ones on the outer edge of the card, and then the two small ones I stuck inside the inner part of the frame. I was able to slide them right in, which was kind of awesome. I didn't have to take anything apart, so that made me really happy. Then I put foam tape on the back of the witch, along with some glue in case I need to move her around, and then I adhere her to the front of the card. I put foam tape and some glue on her crystal ball, and then I glued it to the palm of her hand. I felt like the card needed something else. I usually grab my favorite Halloween dies, the Boo Ghosts, but today I'm using the Spiders and Web die. I haven't used the webs in a while, so I wanted to use them. I die cut the webs from some metallic silver cardstock right here. It looks really nice for the webs, and then I cut a spider from some black cardstock. I adhere the web to the top left corner of the card, and then I put some foam tape on the spider and I adhere it to the web. And I put foam tape on the back of the cat, and I adhere him so he looks like he's kind of walking in front of the tree. To finish off the card, I'm using the Hocus Pocus kitten stamp set because I like the Happy Halloween and the Hocus Pocus sentiment to go with this card. I'm going to be heat embossing my sentiments, so I'm going to rub my paper with my embossing powder bag. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment with Versamark ink. And then I'm going to pour some Ranger silver embossing powder on it. And then when my heat tool is good and hot, I'm going to heat emboss the sentiments. I trimmed the sentiments down to size, and then I put foam tape on the back of them and adhere them to the card. I went ahead and trimmed off any excess of the trees and the spider webs that stuck off the side of the card. Then I realized I wanted the crystal ball, the cat, and the spider to have a little bit of shimmer to it, so I colored them with my Wink of Stella pen. You don't have to do this last step if you don't want to. I just decided to because, well, I guess I was just in a shimmery kind of mood. But I actually think it looks way nicer with the shimmer on it. I don't know if you can see how nice and shimmery this is. It just adds that little extra something to the card. And that's going to complete my card for today. This card was so quick to make, and it's basically just a bunch of die cuts and the pattern paper for the background. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the card. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my new content that's coming out. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.